What do you know about the Republic of Ireland? Discover the charm and beauty of Ireland. I have the honor to discuss the marvelous country that has been my home for the past 3 months. My time here has been spent seeing wonders and learning all about the history and culture of a wonderful nation. Studying abroad in Ireland has been a wonderful experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. Living in Ireland has been like living the life of an explorer in an adventure novel. One of my most daring adventures was my visit to the Cliffs of Moher. Situated on the western coast of Ireland, the cliffs are plagued by fierce winds and, like all of Ireland, unpredictable rain. The hike was treacherous, with mud, wind, and sleet working against me and my friends. However, our labors paid off as we neared the zenith. The sky became clear, and I beheld the beauty and power of nature in its purest form. Looking across the Atlantic and watching the waves crash against the cliff made me forget about my freezing body and left me in awe of nature. Ireland's natural beauty is undeniable. However, Ireland's history is just as rich and awe-inspiring. I'm fortunate to have classes that focus entirely on different aspects of Irish culture. They allowed me to gain deep insight into and contextualize all of the things that I see. For example, the city of Dublin, my home, is ancient, and I'm proud to know its history and how the city has evolved through the centuries. From an early Viking settlement to the second city of the British Empire to the capital of the independent nation of Ireland. Dublin and all Ireland is a living, breathing entity that I've gotten to know intimately, which is very rewarding. It feels like I carry the knowledge of Irish history not in my mind, but in my heart. Castle Ireland. I remember once when I was little I read a story about Ireland and I imagined a beautiful green wonderland with ancient stone castles and magical fairies. When I was looking into studying abroad, I remembered the story, and that's what drew me here as opposed to the other parts of the world. Coming here, I discovered that Ireland is a beautiful green wonderland with ancient stone castles and magical fairies. I couldn't wait to see a real castle, and they're grand. They're such powerful mementos of times long gone, and walking inside through one is like stepping back hundreds of years. Also, fairies are real. Throughout Ireland are fairy forts, which are bizarre circular mounds where fairies live. It's very bad luck to disturb them, and to this very day, the Irish people are very adamantly against the destruction of fairy forts for any reason. This is 100% true. Ireland is famous for its gorgeous, diverse landscapes. It's known as the Emerald Isle for good reason. On any visit to the island of Ireland, you'll enter a world recognizable for its lush, sumptuous shades of green. But the country's natural beauty doesn't only lie within these pretty countryside scenes. In Ireland, those abundant rolling hills end abruptly at dramatic cliff tops and sea views on the wild Atlantic Way. Elsewhere, pinnacles of rugged mountain peaks loom over dunes speckled with the pink of heather. While green may be the stereotype, Ireland has an astonishing variety of landforms and colors to offer. You may know some of Ireland's landscapes as famous filming locations. Romantic scenes from the TV show Normal People were shot beneath the pleated cliffs of Benbulben on Streetout Beach in Sligo, for example. And Skellig Michael, an island off Ireland's southwest coast, features in the Star Wars movies. The country boasts a deep literary culture. Ireland is incredibly proud of its literary heritage. Some of the greatest writers in the English language have hailed from the island of Ireland in recent centuries, and its literary culture remains very healthy today. Consider the dandyish wit of the Victorian playwright Oscar Wilde. Then there's the formidable intellectual works of literary giants James Joyce and Samuel Beckett. More recently, the late Northern Irish poet Seamus Heaney delighted and moved audiences with his Nobel Prize-winning verse. Today, there's no sign that this literary liveliness is quietening down. You only need to see the popularity of Sally Rooney, Roddy Doyle, or Colm Toibin to know Irish literature is alive and kicking. Irish pubs are an important part of life. It's a bit of a stereotype that the Irish enjoy a drink or two. Just like Scotch in Scotland or wine in the Mediterranean, Irish whiskey and ales have a diverse history and a large following of very serious connoisseurs. Yet a drink is not just a drink. Instead, it can represent an enduring part of a country's culture. Visit any pub in Ireland and you'll witness why these social spaces are such an important part of the nation's way of life. Alternatively, Dublin's Guinness Storehouse is a place where you can experience the history of Ireland's beer culture. It's the site where Guinness, Ireland's most famous beer, was brewed, stored, and fermented. Of course, you can sample a taste of the black stuff here too. Ireland's music is recognizable across the world. Like its literature, Ireland's music is diverse, wildly popular globally, and fundamental to Irish traditional and modern culture. As a visitor to the country, there's so much you can enjoy. Of course, you could look out for gigs by some of the living legends of Irish and Northern Irish music, including the two, Sinead O'Connor or Van Morrison. But the glorious thing about Irish music culture is that you don't have to go to the headline acts to find exceptional talent. Instead, wherever you are in the country, head into a pub. and there's a good chance that you'll witness an incredible live performance. It could be a highlight of your trip. The island has a long history of immigration. Spellbinding, awe-inspiring, and often painful too, Ireland's complex history of immigration is something that many visitors come searching for. Perched on the edge of the Atlantic, Ireland has forever been a place from which people have set sail in search of opportunity and discovery. Remarkably, for example, Irish monks were early settlers of Iceland back in the 12th century. In Dublin, you can explore the long story of the Irish diaspora at the Irish Emigration Museum. A past winner of the award for Europe's leading tourist attraction at the World Travel Awards, the museum explores the history of Ireland through the stories of those who left. You won't find bigger sports fans anywhere else. The Irish are known as big fans of rugby, a sport in which the country regularly ranks among the top teams in the world. But maybe you didn't know that the country's real sporting passions lie elsewhere. The two most popular sports in Ireland are entirely homegrown. The first is Gaelic football, in which 15 players from opposing teams kick or punch a ball into their opponent's goal. Interestingly, it's one of the last strictly amateur sports in the world. The second is hurling, an ancient Gaelic game that's again played with 15 players, this time controlling the ball with sticks known as hurleys. Hurling claims to be the world's oldest sport. You can witness these intense sports for yourself, for example, at the National Gaelic Games Stadium, Croke Park in Dublin. Dark humor is a national trait. One of the most famous stereotypes about the Irish is that they love the craic. It's a word that translates roughly as chat, good conversation, or just a good time. As a result, the Irish are famously friendly, talkative, and hilarious. Of course, comedians like Dylan Moran, Tommy Tiernan, and more recently, Aisling B have helped to make Ireland's style of dark humor a national brand. But you might experience it for yourself at any pub or shop you visit. The friendly Irish spirit makes the country a joyous place to stay, where you can expect some of the world's best hospitality. Irish Celtic traditions remain alive. When thinking of Ireland, images of leprechauns and shamrocks are rarely far behind. You'll probably recognize them from the imagery of St. Patrick's Day, the festival in celebration of Ireland's patron saint. In reality, these characters come from Ireland's strong folk tradition that's inspired everything from song to Irish dance to poetry. Leprechauns, for example, were mischievous little fairies, while the shamrock was traditionally a symbol of the Catholic Holy Trinity. We have the efforts of poet William Butler Yeats to thank for their continued presence in Irish culture. He was part of the 19th century Celtic Revival, a movement across Ireland and areas of Great Britain that promoted Celtic culture and traditions. Unfortunately, my time in Ireland is almost over. While I'm sad to go, the memories I've made will last a lifetime. Studying abroad has changed me and the way I view the world for the better. I've gotten a taste of the wonders that the world has to offer, and I'm not afraid to look for more. Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative